So you've decided that this is the year you start taking content creation seriously. You're going to get consistent, have a game plan, give it your all, and start making some money from this thing. Maybe you're trying to make your first dollar, or maybe it's your first 10K, maybe even something bolder. Either way, no more dreaming about it and scrolling aimlessly through pages and pages of people living a life that you want to have. And I'm here to be your guide. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kea, and I am a Canadian content creator slash influencer slash whatever it is you want to call me. I've been creating content online since 2016, and I quit my day job in May 2022, shortly after making my first 70K with fewer than 10,000 Instagram followers. I currently make about 80 to 90% of my income through brand deals, and this channel is where I get really transparent about the process to hopefully educate and empower others to do the same. I do already have a video that's like a how to start creating content for beginners, and it has a little bit more strategy step-by-step to it. And I do also have a lot of practical videos for how to attract brand deals, negotiate brand deals, set rates, all of that. So that's not what this video is. It is a no BS list of things that I've learned, things that I think people should know if they want to take content creating seriously and survive the process long enough to eventually succeed at it. I've got 15 different points here, so let's dive in. Number one, lack of knowledge is a poor excuse for not starting. In fact, that mentality is a bit of a trap. When people are ready to start something new or start taking something seriously, they often get stuck in the research gathering stage, often thinking that if I just learn a little bit more, I'll be ready to do this right. But in reality, it's not a lack of knowledge holding people back. It's just themselves. It's us being in our head, overthinking, overanalyzing, worried about being judged or messing up. But in order to actually start gaining traction and moving forward, you need to start so that you can start making mistakes and learning from them. Number two, you are now a business owner. You thought all of this was just fun vibes and aesthetics and the money would come? No, I'm sorry. You need to start treating content as a business in order to succeed in it long term. This means implementing strategies based on market data, studying analytics, your audience, how they receive and react to your content. And this also means you need to evaluate how and where you're going to invest your time and your cash. Luckily, anyone can start content using just their phone and access to the internet. But know that in order to scale, save yourself time, increase your efficiencies, know that you'll eventually need to invest in some things. I am working on a video that exposes all my expenses as a content creator, and if it is ready, I will link it in the description. Number three, you need to get your mindset straight by knowing what you actually want out of this. What is your why? You absolutely need to hold on to a sense of purpose that extends past money, fame, or lifestyle goals. Content is a long game with a lot of ups and downs and shifting definitions of what it means to make it. It happens so often that people meet their financial targets and feel just as unfulfilled as they did when they started. Look for a why that allows you to feel fulfilled and satisfied by the journey of creating content itself. Whether that's the act of creating content, building a sense of community, challenging yourself, learning new skills, self-expression even. 4, know what makes you you. Anyone can create content about nearly any topic. So you need to understand what you're bringing to the table that is different. Some people call this your story, your value add, your unique perspective, or unfair advantage. Figure out yours and lean into it. If you've been creating content online for a while, look to your comments and see if there is a through line to the feedback or compliments that you're getting. I know that when I'm truly in my zone and leaning into what makes me me in my content, people are usually saying in my comments that they appreciate my authenticity, my transparency, vulnerability, chill way of communicating information. There are so many channels to find content creator advice on YouTube, and these are some of the little things that might make somebody choose my video over someone else's. Number 5, stop copying everyone. This is piggybacking on our last point, but I just need to drive it home. Being yourself is just a much more sustainable way of creating on the internet. You're less likely to get burnt out as you create things that are truly aligned with you and your format and your style versus always trying to hop on trends or what is working for someone else. It reminds me how a couple people blew up on TikTok for Get Ready With Me's, and now everybody thought that they need to go do Get Ready With Me's. But the reason that style was working for a select group of people was because it was just really in line with their storytelling, their personality. It wasn't just that format or trend itself that made them blow up. If you get the urge to do something different, do not shy away from it. Number 6, ruffling some feathers here. I am sorry, but you are going to have to narrow your focus. I know you want to talk about anything and create about everything, not be put in a box and all of that, but in order to succeed or gain traction, especially as a small creator, you need to be known for something. Be the go-to for something or someone. Yes, this often means creating in a niched topic, but narrowing your focus can also look like sticking to a specific style of content. Maybe that's cinematic storytelling or a comedic one. Especially in the early days, you need people to want to hit subscribe, hit follow, and keep coming back for more. If you are all over the place, especially as a small creator, like I'm talking to people who are just starting to take this thing seriously, or maybe who have been feeling like they've been at it for a long time but not seeing progress. If it looks like there's no through line to the things that you talk about or the way that you talk about them, why would somebody want to sign up for more if they don't know what they're getting? This doesn't mean that you will always be stuck in your niche and that you can't expand and play as your community grows. Just stay focused for now. Building on that point, you need to stop posting selfishly. You need to be really conscious about what you are offering to others, what value you are giving. Because as much as you'd like for this whole thing to be about you, it really isn't. Us as creators, we do not deserve people's likes, views, attention, just because we decided to show up online and share some stuff. How often do you really just support content, engage with it, watch something all the way through just because that person decided to post online? Realistically, you are most engaging with and supporting the content that is useful to you, motivational, educational, entertaining. You're getting something from it. So really ask yourself what your content is offering to others. Number 8 might sound a little counterintuitive based on the last point, but you need to stop caring about what people think, at least within reason. Too many people are worried about being cringe. It's actually something that's come up a lot in my comments. They say, how can I just start posting content without caring what my friends and family and everything think about me? And I wish I had a strategy that extended past like just, you can't care. It doesn't matter what they think, but that's the truth. If you're being vulnerable and again, leaning into that unique perspective, your content is going to resonate with the people it needs to resonate with. And that's kind of all that really matters. There was a kind of quote or messaging that was flying around the internet a while back that I think is so true. And it's this idea that you're not going to get laughed at by a successful creator or a successful business owner or somebody else that is out there succeeding at whatever it is they are wanting to succeed at. Because all of those successful people know that you had to start somewhere. You had to start making mistakes. You had to start small. The people who are usually laughing and pointing or saying that something's cringy or trying to dissuade you from going on this journey are usually the people that haven't built something up for themselves. Number 9, stop blaming other people or other things for your lack of success. Don't blame the algorithm. Don't blame your friends and family for not supporting you. Don't blame your audience for not engaging. It's harsh, but as a business owner, again, the business owner mindset, the problem is usually always going to be with you. This sounds so harsh, but hear me out. The algorithms are always changing, and there are definitely some updates or choices that are frustrating, and it feels like it's holding us back, yada, yada, yada. But it's our job to be able to do our best to analyze and pivot and experiment. Like, you can't just keep posting on Instagram the same way you've always been posting on Instagram and then getting upset when the algorithm changes. You need to keep up with whatever the market changes are. That doesn't mean we can't be frustrated with the algorithm, because again, seems like there's a lot of odd choices, but we can't blame that for lack of success. Similarly, blaming friends and family for not supporting, I see that so much, especially again with people in the beginning stages. Why? That's not your target audience. It's actually going to be more harmful if you have all of your friends and family kind of arbitrarily just supporting and liking when they're not your target audience. They don't have any of the same demographics of the people you're trying to reach. We gotta just take a little bit more accountability. Number 10, diversify your presence. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Don't be all in or only in on Instagram. Don't only go into TikTok. First, of course, ask yourself where you enjoy showing up, then ask yourself where your audience is showing up, and start experimenting on different platforms. Who knows, you might have a whole untapped community on Pinterest or Twitter even, or LinkedIn. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to go all in everywhere at once and kind of burn yourself out or spread yourself thin, but I do actually credit me being semi-active on pretty much every platform to why I have seen a lot of success as a small creator. It's a pretty simple way to expand your overarching brand reach and awareness, and consciously being on all of the different platforms makes you look like you are taking this thing seriously, not as though you kind of blew up one day randomly on Instagram and decided to run with it. Which brings me to number 11. Two ones, which is to commit to at least one short form and one long form platform. You can also see this as one instant gratification platform and one delayed gratification platform, one short term, one evergreen, social media versus search engine, one that is just for initial brand awareness, and one that is seed content, like you're planting the seed and it's going to grow and work for you long term. So when you're looking at some short-term platforms, you can look at Instagram, TikTok, Twitter even, LinkedIn. And for those long-term platforms, you're really looking more at YouTube or having your own blog. And then there's also Pinterest, which kind of sits a little bit in the middle. It definitely leans more towards the evergreen, the long-term brand awareness, like seed content, like it takes a while for it to really take off, but it's technically not long form. At minimum, if you can't be everywhere, just take one of each, start there. Number 12, comparison will destroy you if you let it. Seriously, it doesn't matter who I talk to or what stage they are in along their journey, like whether they're brand new or have been in this for years, there's always like an element of comparison that they're struggling with. And I think that's like a bit of the grass is always greener. It's a bit of the social media is always like a highlight reel. So when we look outwards, all we see is like how productive everybody's doing and all of their wins. And it's easy to let that get to you and paralyze you and stop you from creating content. I find a lot of this comparison tends to come from mindless scrolling. So my advice to you is if you're ready to take content seriously, you want to cut a lot of those distractions and comparisons, you need to cut your unproductive time that's spent online. And I'm still guilty of being consumed by it all. So this is just me trying to help out a friend. I actually have an app installed on my phone called OneSec, and I programmed it so that anytime I try to open Instagram or TikTok, that this little countdown pops up and it prompts me to breathe. And at the end of the countdown, it says, were you actually consciously trying to open this app, or were you just like on autopilot? And it allows us to break the cycle, so definitely recommend. Number 13, you can't do this alone. You need to find people, coworkers, peers. They will help keep you accountable, help inspire you, motivate you, understand the ins and outs of this space. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, to get on Discord, join Facebook groups, join meetups, jump into conversations on Threads and Twitter. If you've been mutuals with somebody for a while, you're commenting on each other's stuff, slide into their DMs. If there's a local creator in your area that's kind of at the same stage of their journey as you, hit them up for a coffee. Your mental health will thank you. Number 14 kind of keeps the same energy, and it's don't burn bridges. The internet is a spicy place and it remembers. Remember that other content creators are your peers. And honestly, same thing goes for your brand contacts. I think a lot of people get caught up with thinking that their contact at a brand is like part of the big man, the machine, but these are just people at their own day jobs doing their thing. You can build up rapport and connection with them in a way that's professional, and know that if something's not going your way in a negotiation, it is often not likely them, that contact, that is causing the holdup. It's probably somebody further up the chain. And you never know when that contact might move to a new agency or a new brand, and they're gonna take that history that they have with you with them to the next place. Yeah, it just always blows my mind how quick people are to light fire to connections. And some of those connections are people they've never even met. You would never catch me online ranting about another creator, even if it's somebody that I've never met, because you never know when you will meet them. You never know when your circles are going to cross. Like, the content creating space is so small. I do want to note you don't have to be friends with everybody, nor do I recommend you try to do so, but you need to be respectful. The internet is now your office. And finally, number 15, learn from others. As somebody who's been pretty firmly in the hair, beauty, lifestyle niche, I actually get so much of my inspiration from people outside of those categories. I follow and learn a lot from a lot of photographers, videographers, people posting and creating just like the most stunning aesthetic stuff, high quality stuff with their cameras that I just wish I could create. I follow a lot of social commentary video essayists. And though I create different content from all of these different people, I can take different elements that inspire me and infuse it into my content to make it unique. It reminds me a little bit of the Steal Like an Artist book. Definitely recommend. And ending on a little bonus point, go get to work and be patient. Seriously, just go start creating. I do have a playlist here with all of those like tangible tips about rate setting and negotiating and all of that, but try your best not to go down a research rabbit hole that prevents you from actually just hitting record or writing your blog post or posting something on Instagram. Thanks for watching, best of luck, and until next time.